What's up, Dub Nation? Rich with Let's Go Warriors here. And wow, you really doing that? Rich with Let's Go Warriors here. We are going to analyze the cap sheet now that LeBron has said no. We are going to learn how to stop complaining. If you're here to just complain, I would honestly rather just talk by myself. So please be high vibrational and not be, I won't name names, but yeah. I'm over here actually at my family reunion, and it's kind of nice. We do this once every 3 years. So I'm blessed that that side of the family has that. But that is to say, I'm on Eastern time, Eastern time right now, and it's late here. So I'm going to try and not go off any deep ends and just keep things civil and calm, because that's what we need right now this summer, while Warriors Twitter is once again claiming carnage and thinking that it's the end of the world. It's not. And I'm here to make you feel better about your team, not like the rest of the internet that only knows how to complain. So couple things. We'll start out with our Discord server. So here's our free Discord server. With the family reunion, I haven't had time to totally fix things. But I will fix them shortly, because when you join the Discord, it'll sign you up for the Let's Go Valkyries Discord on accident. But in signing up for that, I will know that I need to sign you up. So yeah, that part still hasn't occurred because of obligations to family, as you would expect at a reunion. You need to be present. And even today, I was already kind of, with the LeBron news, I was out with the family, got the news, and had to pivot and leave the family and prepare the live stream. Luckily, it's pretty late right now. However, it should be, what time is it in the Philippines? Our Far East folks, this should be a good time. Let's see, current time, Philippines. Yay, 11 a.m. Saturday. All right, obtrusive thoughts. Okay, let's take a look at the Discord and rehash what happened today, just to, get our hands around this thing. And one new mention. Oh, this is from, what is this? Okay, well, in the Dunleavy section, which is the free version of the Discord. So you have your VIP feeds up here, which are largely VIP, which is $5 a month, but you get these real time. And there's a whole host of stuff, like here's Steph with Moody in Maumelle Country Club. So that's happening today, and I covered some of that here in the Moses section, which is mostly for our VIPs, but I'll show you that in a second. And this one I put in the Moody section because we got to talk about Moses Moody as well, because if we're getting DeMar on a non-taxpayer mid-level, then I still think Moody has to be traded out for that to happen. So if I go back to every post, then I can show you exactly what happened with Moody today. We got so many clips there, and there's even more clips if you have our VIP version, which I just showed you because we follow one of these people who is a good aggregator of stuff from Instagram and whatnot. So those will be aggregated by me sooner or later, and we'll put those in the Moody section down here. Moses. All right, so to get caught up on everything that happened today with LeBron, then we need to go to the Dunleavy section right here. And this was a couple days ago, July 21st. So let's scroll down. And yeah, this one came in from Shams at 8:32 a.m., which was 11:32 my time. And that's what happened. DeRozan is waived. We need to gauge the reader's level of comprehension on the cap sheets. But anyways, that would be my question back. Why would they need to move Moses? If you've joined our last 10 live streams, then you would know the answer to that, but I'm happy to repeat it. 11:32 Eastern time, right? I'm on the East Coast. So let's see. LeBron said, I thought I was done when the season ended, blah, 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 blah. He gave this tweet that somebody else aggregated, Underdog did. And basically what happened was the opposite of what I was hoping would happen. And my source was hoping what would happen, which was opposite of what I was hoping, which was, sorry about that. We're on Substack and we have one person on Substack. Thank you, one person. What I wrote about was that LeBron, if he were 42 and he didn't need to scratch that competitive itch, then he could do what he's been telling everybody in the Draymond camp, which is, I want to play with Steph. And the fact that the Warriors are not built to win a championship next season because of the injuries, at least on paper, you know, you're gonna get Jimmy and Moses back, but they're gonna be gone for half a season, so that leaves things up in the air. So on paper, you really don't have Jimmy or Moses to start the season, and it's hard to process that, to think that you have a full squad when you don't. Plus, Porzingis is chronically injured and so not reliable to be there 100%. And even though Philadelphia has their own version of that, which is Joel Embiid, still though, the rest of their squad is pretty deep. And so it was either going to be one or the other, right? It was either going to be, I'm still competitive, or I'm old enough that I'm not as competitive anymore. And what he wrote in his tweet was to say, he made the conclusion that everything that I sacrificed during the season, no matter where I am, those are sacrifices still. Whether we win or lose, those are sacrifices. So if I'm going to sacrifice that, I might as well do what I was born to do, which is to try and win championships. Therefore, the effort to try and win championships becomes top priority. All right, so looks like I'll need to go through the cap sheet. So we'll just do that, and it will and we will go through the cap sheet, because everybody needs a remedial course in that. So are we really going to give Draymond 27 million? That's what this live is for. Okay. We're not going for AD. Washington wants to keep AD, and we have a clean cap sheet for next summer. So sending out picks when you're not a champ caliber team, not good. Too much toxicity from LeBron fans, says Bruce. But in real life, basketball players generally don't live in Warriors Twitter world. So I wouldn't worry about that. Trade for Zion? No. How? Every trade scenario needs to come with the actual salary matching. That's on you, not me. So trying to establish the ground rules here, because in emotional times like this, for casuals and people out there that don't really follow spreadsheets that well, you just say anything, and I kind of don't want that, because I can get that anytime I want on Warriors Twitter, right? So I got to raise the level of the audience here and the back and forth as we go through the spreadsheet. So don't just say anything. We're starting to get a lot of comments now, so say something that makes sense from the spreadsheet example, and we'll go through it. So if you're trading for Zion, don't just say trade for Zion. Honestly, like it helps if you would actually give us the trade proposal. Otherwise, don't say it, right? So if you're going to trade for Zion, state the exact parameters. Who are you trading for what? Does something for Curry. There we go again. I want to warn you guys, I'm just not having it. I've been looking at tweets all day from Warriors Twitter, and they're trying to make me feel bad about my team. That's not what we're about here. If anything, I'm here to make you feel better about your team and let you know that life happens. Whether it's just your own life, you're driving on the freeway and somebody hits you, it's life. It's not really any reason to get mad about it. It's just you have to deal with it. And the Warriors are in a situation where, I keep saying this, but their top 5 guys, if you look at here, Moody, Steph, Jimmy, Kristaps, Draymond, and Moses are either injured, or they're old, or they're both injured and old. And that's very hard to make any trades whatsoever, especially if you're not trading Steph Curry. So, I would come back right to you, why wouldn't your suggestion be to trade Steph? That would actually be the best way to reset the team. Get 5 draft picks. Mikal Bridges went for 5 draft picks. Let's get 5 draft picks for Steph. But I don't want to do that. I love Steph. So you should be more appreciative that Lacob hasn't traded your favorite player of all time, right? But Warriors Twitter will twist it around for you. I heard so much praise for Bob Myers today. I think we need to praise Mike Gansey, not Bob Myers. Gansey has an established relationship with LeBron. Bob Myers just happens to be Gansey's boss. Gansey's doing the work. Bob Myers showed up on Rich Paul's podcast. Do you think LeBron made the decision based on what Bob Myers says? I mean, I think we got to give LeBron a little bit more credit. He's not that dumb. And he needs Bob Myers to point out that the Sixers have a nice roster. I mean, anybody would understand that, right? So, but Warriors Twitter will today twist it, and then they twisted it even further to say that Lacob ran Myers out of the building. Did he? I thought Bob Myers stepped down because he didn't want to be the one to be there when Clay inevitably was going to leave the team, or one of the 3 was going to leave the team. So please don't drink the Warriors Twitter Kool-Aid. This is the one place where we don't do it. And I will say that should start. I should actually be marketing that more and more. We are literally not Warriors Twitter on here. And we're not going to just tell you that, oh, Warriors are such a terrible franchise. And we won 4 championships in 11 years. That's better than a lot of, other franchises, number one. And even if the franchise were to bat under the Mendoza line, 1 championship out of 11 years or 12 years we would have been grateful for that. Instead, we actually got 4. The party is over. I mean, every day's a party for me. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys is when basketball means this much to you, you should never complain about it. Wizards got reality check. Look, us signing Anthony Davis and having the burden of giving an extension or not, that's just too much. That's a lot to ask us to do, right? So right here, he's expecting an extension. That's a lot for an older guy. No, we're not here to throw LeBron under the bus either, because I love the game too much, and LeBron's one of the greatest. If you were to open a random gym and LeBron was playing basketball, would you leave? So I don't know. There's just so much negativity right now. Everyone who's negative about LeBron choosing the Sixers, just leave, man. I don't want to deal with all this stuff. So just don't want to deal with all you guys. I'm here to go through the cap sheet again and just go through realistically what stuff needs to happen. Sign and trade with Draymond. So again, you did the same thing as the guy that wanted to trade for Zion. So anyways, somebody resorted to trying to cut me down at the knees. Just leave the chat. I never did anything to you. Old man is much wiser than a dumb young fuck like you. Exactly, Noberto. Try to enjoy it, right? That's what we're doing here with the salary cut. We're trying to enjoy it by understanding it more. And hopefully you'll feel that way as well. Well, as I said, LeBron, he did what he felt this morning. And, championships was greater than golf. So you can change your mind. There's all these variables floating. One day, this variable's more. The next day, this variable's more. That's what happened when KD picked the Warriors. So that's another thing. Isn't that ironic? Like, who here wouldn't want KD to have come here, right? Number one. So does anybody here want July 4th, 2016, KD to have picked OKC? And number two, did you really expect to go like 2 for 2 with Hall of Fame free agents? Actually, 3 for 3 because we got Andre Iguodala. So did you really, are you that entitled that you were supposed to get 3 for 3? Like, so what? LeBron didn't pick the Warriors. So what? Like, we got KD the one time, and that was a great day. We got Andre Iguodala the one time, and that was a great day. We even got Sean Livingston, man. I put him in my Hall of Fame. It's just like there's so many people out there that want you to feel so bad about your Warriors. I don't get it. Like, we have a good franchise. Don't worry about it. This owner's way better than Cohan. And this owner actually won 4 championships. So that's it? He'll never win one again. I mean, he's still ahead of a lot of the other GMs, 29 other GMs right now. He's actually ahead of Sam Presti. OKC Thunder need to win 3 more to catch up to Lacob. So, but Warriors Twitter wants to continue to feel bad about themselves and project and thumb type. And I'm just trying to make you aware that that's what's happening over there. Yeah, I'm not into throwing LeBron under the bus. I don't get it. That's negative energy too. I don't understand it. Okay, so let's go through this. We start here, and we had Draymond opt out, right? Now we got Yaxel in there. We got Al Horford. We got Charles Bassey now. So now we're going to change this to Charles Bassey more on a permanent basis. And the Bassey one is going to be here because this is a kind of a mess, but that's okay. I'll just write over these. Will Richards in there. And we have 2 or 3 slots to play with over here. So yeah, now we're starting to look at the cap sheet 24 minutes in. So the first thing is this can get us under the luxury tax. We can put the minimum for Draymond, and you can see we're now under the luxury tax. We can open up the non-taxpayer mid-level right here. And actually this number also goes right here to these slots that you must fill. You can leave the 15th one open. So we're taking a rookie minimum, and let's just unbold all these. So you start here. This is our cap sheet right now. Actually, Draymond, I got to ask Yossi Goslin how to functionally do this, but let's just assume this is good enough. I think there's a cap hold here that's probably, it's probably 120% of 27 million. So I don't know if that's going to work. Just quickly look. Yeah, that would put us over. But let's just assume you can get it to become the non-taxpayer mid-level. And then now we're going to create a new sheet. And we're going to try and get another guy at the non-taxpayer mid-level. Now, the guy that's on the thumbnail is DeMar DeRozan. So I think that would be the most obvious guy you would want to get. I don't know that there's anybody else out there that's worth that, given the very, very dry market. In a normal year, or if Steve Kerr was not the coach of the Warriors, you might even consider a Jonathan Kuminga as the most talented person to put in the non-taxpayer mid-level. But because Steve is the coach, I think that's not the case. So we're going to try to get DeMar here. In doing so, we got to make this the non-taxpayer mid-level. And let's say we're getting DeMar. I mean, this is the same spreadsheet as we had for the LeBron one, but now it's DeMar. So let's just change it to here. And obviously all these other sheets we've used on other live streams. So yeah, that's 15 million. And we are under the luxury tax. So now we can sign Draymond for anything that gets us under the first apron. So in doing so, that leaves us a little bit short. We can pay him like $8 million. Actually, what, 13 million? Let's see. Whatever number we came up with last time. I think it was 14 million. Yeah, what I did was I shaved DeMar a little bit off to 14 million. And I gave Draymond 14 million. So you'd have to come up with a longer term contract to keep Draymond and make it worthwhile for him to take a 50% pay cut and maybe stretch that out 3 years. 14 times 3 is 42 million. So he would get like maybe 30 of that guaranteed. So so the next 2 years, including this year, guaranteed at 14 million. So that's 28 plus 2 million out of the 14 in year 3 guaranteed, or something like that. So that's how you could squeeze in a guy at the non-taxpayer mid-level. It'd have to be less, actually. See, we're over this first apron because we're using the non-taxpayer mid-level. You got to be capped at the first apron. I don't mind going through this again because it's good, to get reps like this. So now I've reduced DeMar's salary to like 13 million. Draymond's is 14 million. So yeah, this is, I don't know, this might be a little bit far-fetched. Do you really want to get Draymond locked in for the next 3 years? This way you do keep Moody. Now the easy way to do it, so let's say this one is DeMar plus Moody. Let me do this. DDR plus Mo. And then we're going to copy this. And let's do another one where it's DeMar minus Moses. In this one, you could pay Draymond the full taxpayer. And also DeMar, the full taxpayer. Full non-taxpayer, 15,044 million. Okay, here the total we're now over the first apron, and now you got to trade somebody out because we've got too many spots, or we've got too much money, and we're hard capped at the first apron. So in this case, you could actually try to trade maybe like Podziemski or something. Let me look back at this LeBron example. Oh, we have De'Anthony Melton, so that's why. Sorry about that. So I've got to add De'Anthony Melton. He's going to make at least the BAE, which is also first apron cap. So 5.477 million at a minimum. And we need to put him in here. So that's why you end up having to trade Moody. So De'Anthony Melton, 5.477 at a minimum. And this is the biannual. So we've basically already agreed to sign him. No backing out of that one. And that leaves us at 212 million. And the hard cap is at 209 for the first apron. So at that point, what do you do? And this is with Draymond at 14 million and DeMar at 13 million. So you'd have to either trade Pods or Moody. So I'm going to say this seems a little low. And for Draymond. And this is also slightly low for DeMar. And we're at, 3 million over. So like one of these guys would have to be traded. Mo or Pods trade out probably. Because you're not trading Yaxel, you just drafted him. You're not trading Al Horford, you just signed him. So Pods or Moody, you're probably not trading Gee because he's locked in for multiple years at a very reasonable number. And so how do you make space to get over here? So over the first apron. So that's a problem right now. So that's why you'd have to trade either Moody or Pods. Now, if we did this with more reasonable numbers, so here, let's start that over. Let's delete what we did there. Now let's duplicate this because I had forgotten about De'Anthony, so sorry about that. Now let's pay these guys more reasonable numbers. So now I can delete these concerns. And now we're at 215 million. And at that point, Podziemski's salary is not enough. Because if you traded him out just for like, I don't know, second round pick to, wherever, Brooklyn. Let's put in a veterans minimum here. Typically, I don't think you'd have more than one rookie vet minimum. So let's actually write this down as a rookie vet min. Copy that to the previous one. Okay, so here, these are more reasonable numbers. I'd say Dre, okay with this. Matching DeMar's salary. I mean, you could just pay DeMar less. We should try and see what can the Miami Heat do, because he's been rumored. So here we're doing minus Moses. So if I were to trade him out, you can see that if I traded him for second round pick, I'd still have to fill this in with the veterans minimum. And this is a veterans minimum now. And we're over the first apron again. So I can't trade Pods. So let's get this back. Wanted to undo that so that I could see Pods' salary. So it's really Moses. Can't trade Pods out. So now we're trading Moses. So if you wanted somebody at the non-taxpayer mid-level, such as DeMar, and I would think that he's probably the number one guy now on the list of people that, yeah, probably deserve a non-taxpayer mid-level in a normal year. Again, like Anthony Simons has a $6 million contract. Like that seems a little bit low for this particular year, but yeah, so out goes Moody, and let's go Mo out. And we can probably bring somebody else in, because if you look at this from a veterans minimum, we still got $4 more million to play with. So you could bring in a guy like Jake LaRavia, let's say. So you bring in Jake LaRavia, he makes $6 million. And boom, you're right. Now, even that's not going to work. So then you pay, let's see, you're 400,000 over. So then you'd pay somebody 400,000 less. So let's just give DeMar a little bit less. If you wanted to go out and trade Moody for something, I would think that you would get something for Moody. You could go Dalton Knecht. Let's look at Dalton Knecht's numbers. What's he making? Lakers. 4,201,080. 4,201,080. There you go. Now we're under the first apron. Trade Moses for Dalton Knecht, get something back for him. There, Knecht. You know, he's limited on defense, certainly not as good as Moses, but if you're wanting to get DeMar, I'm not saying to go get DeMar. I don't think we can make that conclusion. I'm just saying that if DeMar ends up being the guy, then this is how it would look. Overall, I don't know that DeMar really moves the needle all that much. So I don't think I would make the deal. So would you want DeMar at the expense of Moody? Okay, so let's just throw that out there. As of today, I'm feeling like I'd rather just wait until Moody gets healed up. I don't know. It's a close one. All right, let's see what we got in the comments, and hopefully they're not too bad. So yeah, why would the Pelicans trade Trey Murphy for Pods and an injured Moody? I don't think that floats their boat. I know there's picks involved, but once again, I know I'm in the minority, but at this point, me and Sam Quinn of CBS, we both think that it's not the time to trade your picks. Like, you need to be like in contention. You got to be at least as good as the Orlando Magic to trade out and try and get Desmond Bane for 3 picks. New York was thinking that they could make a run at it, and they were correct with the Mikal Bridges gamble. But you have to be on the up and up, and the Warriors are not quite yet on the up and up yet. So I don't think you'd want to trade out the picks, especially when next summer all these contracts come off other than Moses. Now, the thing that brings me back to maybe trading Moses in all of this, especially if we had gotten LeBron, though, but we didn't. So now we're not as good, and it's a tough one, but I wouldn't mind seeing this salary be shed as well, but I don't know. Can you develop Dalton Knecht? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that I want to decide on that. That's what Mike Dunleavy does in his job, and let's just see what happens and understand whether you go one way or the other. If we get LeBron, then we get it. If we don't, nothing to be down and sad about. Can we trade away Pods? I can't for a whole additional season. I'm all about getting rid of as much commitment on the salary cap as possible for next summer. I want to go on a shopping spree for free agents, just like the Lakers did a month ago. And I want to rebuild the team around Steph. That's what I want to do next summer. So I just want to survive. And we'll get Jimmy back. We'll get Moses back. Maybe make a run. Just try and be 500 by the time they get back. And, I know some people are going to say you're wasting Steph. Okay, then just bring Steph off the bench. There's no need to, start him every single game. Certainly not play back-to-backs coming up. So it's time to transition him anyways. I mean, he's got runner's knee. So him being 100% the whole way, that's no guarantee either. So just really start being conservative on that. And that also plays into the contracts are going to expire here, and then we can rebuild the team around them. There's some guys that might be available. Cap might be available, because what are they going to do when they hit this extension time? The Knicks, at some point, they're going to want to extend Brunson. They know that. He's the heart of the franchise. They probably want to keep Anunoby along with them. Guess who becomes expendable at that point? Karl-Anthony Towns. And why not just Karl-Anthony Towns going to read the tea leaves next summer, and he's going to go, well, okay, my time here in New York is done. I'm a free agent. I'm going to the highest bidder. We can bid the highest next summer. So you kind of have to look at that rather than mortgaging the future. And you will mortgage your future not only through the draft with those draft picks, but also if you don't continue to go with that strategy of clearing the cap sheet, just like the Lakers did, and rebuild their team. Mario Hezonja, like, that doesn't really move the needle. But like, if you wanted to bring Mario Hezonja on a veterans minimum, fine. But we're not bringing him on a non-taxpayer mid-level. So you see, the ways that you can improve the team are get under the tax, get under the first apron to enable the NTMLE, to enable the BAE, to get Melton. And that's how we can get players. But a Mario Hezonja that's not really news, because it's a veterans minimum. So what? Like, whoever you put in here is probably not going to affect the team all that much, just like if it was Gary Payton II or Brandon Williams. Like, those are nice pickups, but actually Brandon Williams probably plays a lot better than I just realized I messed up the Podziemski. Brandon Williams plays a lot better than the veterans minimum. So just down here, whoever we pick up, it's whatever. And yeah, so that's why you can see maybe we don't go after DeRozan because then this becomes a veterans minimum and we can pick up a guy like Brandon Williams cheap on the dollar because he's buddies with Melton. I talked about that before. And just kind of build it with the veterans minimum. But what can you do in anyways? It's hard to trade an injured guy like Moody. It's hard to trade Draymond. It's hard to trade KP. It's hard to trade Jimmy, and we're not trading Steph. So when your top 5 roster slots are untradeable, it's hard to really improve the team. So everybody's up in arms on Warriors Twitter about how we're running it back. What do you want us to do? We got guys that are injured. You have to run it back when nobody wants to trade for injured people. So that's why you don't go out and get Trey Murphy. We're not good enough to get Trey Murphy. That's not, you don't do a desperate move like that when the pieces that are without Trey Murphy aren't even in the playoffs. Like, you trade for Murphy and you spend the picks, you got to at least hit the second round, right? Even Orlando did that, right? Unless they didn't. I don't know. Let's check that, actually. Let's check my math. As I am a OCD journalist, Paulo Banchero. By the way, Paulo, let's take a look at his. We did this already, but we'll do this one more time soon when I get back from the East Coast. We'll look at all these potential guys that might become available. Paulo, well, he's locked in for a while. Wow, they really went all in with all these guys. You see that? I'd rather have the Warriors cap sheet than Orlando, quite frankly. Look at how stuck they are. Yeah. Anyways, back to Banchero. Where did they finish? Let's look at the previous year. They lost in the first round, but then Boston had the Achilles injury with Tatum. So did Tyrese Halliburton with the Pacers. So effectively 2 teams went off the board. Now we know Boston still played well. And then they came to grips with their reality, this season in the playoffs. But Orlando swung for the fences with Desmond Bane. And that was with the team that got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. And people want to trade for Trey Murphy when we weren't even in the playoffs. We didn't even win the second play-in game. Like, the team is not good enough without Trey Murphy to go get Trey Murphy. Does that make sense? So Bruce is okay with that. Wait, at the expense of Moody? Wow. It looks like in the poll, most people actually do want to go for DeMar. $17 likes. Yeah. All right, so let's hit the like button. 19 likes with 95 concurrence. Wow. Please hit the like button. It's easy. That's typical social media behavior. Okay. Jokic could be available. Yeah. Things could go wrong with Denver. You never know. Pelicans said they wanted Pods. No, they didn't. That has never been uttered by anybody with credibility on our Discord server, which tracks all of the major NBA journalists. So come to our Discord. I feel like somebody that's addicted to the Kool-Aid on Twitter that I'm dealing with. So you're new here, SD. It doesn't seem like a handle that's been on Let's Go Warriors live streams. So please come back more and more and we'll get to know each other. But Pelican said they wanted pause. No. Show me the link where that was. Kuminga could become a Warrior again, only if Steve Kerr is not the coach. Okay. So anyways, rehashing. So we went kind of out of order here. We went to the spreadsheet. I showed you the DeMar example. Continuing on today, Yossi Goslin says that the wait for LeBron has not affected the Warriors that much. How do you know this? Well, you know this because from the spreadsheet, like somebody has to take this slot. The ones that took other non-taxpayer mid-levels while LeBron was waiting around and was like deciding, who were those people? Like Rui Hachimura? No, not really. Rui Hachimura took a slight discount to stay in LA with the Clippers, who are rebuilding. The only reason you'd stay with a rebuilding team with a guy that's been around the league like Rui is if you wanted to stay in that area. And he wants to stay in LA. He's Japanese. He's buddies with Shohei Ohtani. So yeah, stay in LA and take a slight discount. So really, Rui was never really a target for us. And I don't know who's left. Like DeMar, let's look for Keith Smith's list of free agents. But that list also has like Draymond on it. So, Draymond's coming back. Wouldn't worry about that. So let's get that one out of the way as well. Best available free agents. Let me copy this tweet and let me put it in the Discord. Keith Smith has a list. Oh, actually we can just go to Discord here and you can go to the salary cap section where we track all of these smart salary cap people and just search on Draymond in salary cap. And that'll come up. Watch this. Here it is. So best available free agents. Russell Westbrook. Benedict Mathurin is a restricted. Somebody wanted Bruce Brown. He's too small for my liking. It's just another Pods, maybe a slightly better Pods. So what are you going to do with Pods then? Besides, this is probably a veterans minimum. Honestly, I don't really care about veterans minimum right now, other than guys that we can get at a discount there, which do include Bruce Brown. But I think I'd rather have a more dynamic guy like Brandon Williams who can score with the ball, more offensive minded, rather than Bruce Brown, who is defensive minded. But again, that's a veterans minimum slot. Let's fry the bigger fish first, like non-taxpayer mid-level guys. So DeMar DeRozan right here. Certainly nobody else is really worthy of it. LeBron James was worthy of it, but he passed it up. He didn't want to do that for the Warriors, and he took less money to go to the Sixers. Peyton Watson, that's a restricted free agent. So you kind of need the ability to sign and trade or have cap space. And as I said before, I talked about it with Yossi Goslin. He said we're not trading Porzingis because it's just kind of like an unwritten rule where you you sign a guy, technically, okay, yeah, you can trade him. You can trade him now, but you just signed him with the understanding that he'd be on the team. Now, it's past the guarantee date of July 7th already, so he's guaranteed 19 million. Look, I just don't know that any other team would trade for a guy that isn't there 100% all the time with Kristaps. So I think we need to throw the trade scenarios with Kristaps out the window. It just doesn't really fit. It's like there's more reasons that Porzingis isn't getting traded than there are reasons for having him in trade scenarios. So the next one, so sign-in trade of Porzingis for Peyton Watson, probably not happening. So that's the situation with a lot of these restricted free agents. Obviously, Draymond is listed there as a free agent. Technically, he is. But again, that's the same thing. If this were a video game, yeah, you could send him anywhere. Like he could go sign somewhere or whatever. Somebody else that has the non-taxpayer mid-level. But with us, he could just come back, and we're going to look at this next. And with us as a second apron team. Why not? Because we don't need if we don't want DeRozan, then you might as well just be over the first apron. Like luxury taxes for Lacob aren't really that big of a deal because he has a cash cow with Chase Center. And the other reason why is because you have a lot of top heavy guys like Steph and Jimmy. So other guys on the free agent list, like we don't really go after centers like this. And again, Nick Richards is not going to make a non-taxpayer mid-level either. So really the only guy here that has done enough to earn a non-taxpayer mid-level, I would say would be DeMar and possibly Jonathan Kuminga, just his upside. But even then, his market's pretty dry, as it is for a ton of guys in the middle class. It's not their fault. It just so happens they came into the league at the same time as the implementation of the first and second aprons. And yeah, the middle class is completely wiped out. I mean, if Anthony Simons is making $6 million a year, Colin Sexton is only making $9 million. Come on. These guys in a normal year, even last year, they should be paid at least the mid-level of $15 million. But it's just the state of the league. Jayshawn Tate just signed, and I'll bet you he was also at a, sort of a discount. Oh, we can just go to Houston here on cap sheets, find out his salary. So Keith Smith had Jayshawn Tate on there, but he just signed with Houston, and that number is also quite low. So looking at Hoops Hype, which has more of the out years here, Jayshawn Tate, $3 million. 1 year? Wow. Let's look at Hoops Hype. Hoopshype.com, Jayshawn Tate, just to go the full 9 yards on this. Rumors. Could have sworn I saw him. Yeah, 1 year, $3 million. Jayshawn Tate at $3 million? Wow. That's kind of unfair. So Warriors Twitter would have you believe that Jonathan Kuminga is this terrible player. If they applied the same rule to Jayshawn Tate, then Jayshawn Tate should be, the worst player ever in the NBA, taking a $3 million deal. Like what you're making this year is not an indication of how good you are. It's a strange NBA right now, especially when you got guys like Damian Lillard that have been stretched and waived, Bradley Beal, those are two top heavy contracts that have been decimated in a way. And so all that money becomes like, I mean, Lillard and Beal shouldn't be paid that much money, even though it's dead money for their teams. So anyways, back to the lecture at hand, which is DeMar seems like the one guy out of this entire list that's going to get a non-taxpayer mid-level, other than Jalen Duren, who is going to either get in a tough negotiating situation with Detroit or not. But either way, his price range is way out of our price range. He is way higher than Kristaps. And so at that point, you're talking Jimmy Butler, and that doesn't fit either. So we don't need to worry about people on the list like Jalen Duren here. This is just the full list that are best available, and it is true that they are best available, but he has to include on this list Jalen Duren, Peyton Watson. Those are guys we can't get. So now the next step is to try to not have DeMar. And well, first let's look at Miami, because he's been rumored. Actually, let's look at Hoops Hype. We're going to go, this is what you guys should do. Go to rumors. Actually, let's just type it in. Google search hoopshype.com and type in the name, DeMar DeRozan. Go to rumors. Click on that. Go to rumors, and let's see where he's been rumored. The Miami Heat will shift their focus to DeMar, Beal, and Klay Thompson. I mean, yeah, they have to go after these older guys that are overpaid, because there's nobody else left that can improve Miami. So it's very similar to the Warriors, except that we don't have Giannis. Therefore, we're on paper a worse team than Miami. So that's why we're not really talking about these guys either. But Klay makes too much. But Klay would need to take a buyout. And I don't think we want to add Klay right now when we could add other guys like Brandon Williams. Like even a Bruce Brown would probably be more desirable than a 36-year-old guy that can't play defense, right? So just, again, looking at some of these rumors of other teams for DeRozan, other suitors, I guess it's Miami. And that's what we've heard. So now Pistons. Okay, so we will look at Pistons and we will look at Miami as far as DeRozan, because we got to consider those two teams as competition to get DeRozan if we deem DeRozan to be worthy of our non-taxpayer mid-level. And by the way, Draymond has to agree to that as well. And as I said, we would probably need to lose Moses in the process. Now, here's one thing, though. Again, this should be DeMar minus Moses here. Like, why should we pay DeMar if Miami can't do the non-taxpayer mid-level, right? So let's look at Miami. Best way to go to this year's salary cap sheet is to go to capsheets.com. My guy Yossi Goslin, I hope to have him on sometime next month, and we will go into the details of next summer having that clean cap sheet versus trading for Trey Murphy or what have you, right? I'm pretty sure he would not recommend to trade picks for Trey Murphy. But looking at the cap sheet for the Heat, they are currently under the luxury tax. So yeah, right now they can offer the non-taxpayer mid-level. Here it is. They are under the tax while building their team here. However, DeMar would have to probably come off the bench with Wiggins on there, whereas we could probably start him in the absence of Jimmy and Moses. So there you have it. Cap sheet wise, we have deduced that DeMar might look at the Warriors as more attractive at the non-taxpayer mid-level versus the Miami non-taxpayer mid-level, in that DeMar could start for the Warriors. Now, could he start for Miami? I don't know. I don't think so, unless is he playing the 2 guard? Maybe. I don't know. What do you think? Then again, Miami probably is a better team than the Warriors on paper, barely. Man, who's their point guard? Davion? They have a lot of roster building left to do. I'm surprised they're not looking for Jonathan Kuminga on here just to add some kind of talent. So there's your DeMar situation. I don't know. I'm not completely sold on DeMar just quite yet. I think primarily, honestly, for me, I would not offer DeMar more than 1 year or give it a team option on the second year. I don't know if Miami can do that. Let's see if Miami can give him some money. I think they want to clear out their books a little bit too. They got Wiggins starting at a lower number here. Look at Wiggins is going to make the mid-level next year. I mean, that's a tough market, man. He's going from 30 million to, I mean, the problem right now is there's a lot of guys like Wiggins that are still making 30 million, which that money should be going to other guys if it was more fair. But that's the situation that's happening. So I don't blame Kuminga or his agent for having trouble getting better contracts than what has been talked about out there. So yeah, player option for Bobby, player option for Giannis. I think they would just extend him out here. And they've got 168 million committed. So yeah, I don't know that Miami would offer DeMar another year, but they could, just to try and compete with the Warriors. So I don't know. This DeMar DeRozan idea is definitely in flux. So yeah, I'm ready to move on and pretend that we don't have DeMar, because Miami can pay him. It actually makes my life easier, because if Miami only had the veterans minimum, then we gotta, put DeMar as a veterans minimum, maybe go after somebody else. But the fact that they can offer DeMar the non-taxpayer mid-level, because they only have 198 million in committed salaries right now, even though 2 more spots need to be filled. So add another 5 million to that, 203 million. I don't know if they can do that. Let's do the math. Did I do Miami here already? Oh, here it is. Miami. They would need to trade somebody to create some space to get under the first apron. And so this is now DeMar. So let's move Miami over. There we go. Let's go DDR Miami. Yeah. Because it was the same salary slot as LeBron to Miami, and it wasn't going to be enough. They would have to trade somebody. So there's a lot of moving parts. And here, DeMar might have to come off the bench, as we talked about. Can you see why LeBron didn't pick Miami? I mean, this team is out of whack. Giannis and Bam, quite frankly, tough. Giannis, Bam, and Wiggins. Hard to build a team around those three as your three highest paid players. There's no way LeBron was going to Miami. No way. Yeah. So I think the same problem for Miami exists for DeMar. I would say we're probably in the running for DeMar, looking at the Miami cap sheet. So congratulations. I just showed you the Miami cap sheet is a little bit out of whack. And I think we're in the running for DeMar. And if we're in the running at that point, okay, why not just get him? But then to get him, to compete against what Miami can offer, maybe you can go down to like 10 million or something. Because Miami, right now, Miami could only afford like 8 million. Because they're over the first apron. If they want to use the non-taxpayer. How did I end up with 8.5? I don't know. Let's put 8 million in there. That doesn't even get them there. They need to make a trade, whether it's got to be Davion Mitchell, just like it is for us, Moses Moody, that $12 million slot. It's really this one. I don't think it's Tim Hardaway. That's probably not enough. So we would have to trade Moody. Miami would have to trade Davion Mitchell. And then who's going to play point guard? As I look at Miami, they've got such an imbalanced roster. Man, I wouldn't want to be them right now. I'd rather have the Warriors problems than the Miami Heat problems. And that's another thing that Warriors Twitter doesn't understand. There's a lot of other teams that are kind of in dire straits. Nobody wants to be the Denver Nuggets right now either, especially when you've got, shaky ground underneath your franchise player, your franchise Hall of Fame guy in Jokic. But that's another live stream to do. All right, I think now that we have established that, one, DeMar DeRozan is definitely in play from a cap sheet perspective, just because Miami's situation is so messed up. By default, DeRozan is in play. And if DeRozan is in play, then maybe you should just do it. I mean, here's what I think about Moody. The problem with the Moody contract is that it's still committed for next summer. That's why I wouldn't mind trading Moody, plus he's gone for half a season. So I started the live stream at 51%, keeping Moody. I'm right back. Again, this is why last live streams, because it has always been about LeBron or even Brandon Williams, which is like more of a probable get because he's buddies with Melton and maybe we can get him for cheap. That's kind of exciting to get a guy like Brandon Williams for cheap who's buddies with Melton. Like, we finally got a buddy of a guy who would highly consider playing for us just because of that, and getting, mentored by Steph Curry. But that's Brandon Williams. We've been talking about other roster slots, so I haven't really ran through it in my head that, okay, we don't have LeBron, that's for sure. Maybe we go for DeRozan, but if we do that, then Moody's sacrifice. So what do you really feel about Moses? And I haven't really sat down to think about that yet, right? So now I am. And I'm just thinking from this perspective here, I want to rebuild the team next summer. That's it. Like, now, especially that we didn't get the LeBron, let's just get through next season. We were going to do that anyways because all of these guys are injured or old, and Draymond is the fifth guy up here. In fact, nobody would trade for Horford either. So throw Horford in that mix. The top 6 salaries, my mistake, not 5. The top 6 salaries are untradeable. So you're going to be stuck. And I wouldn't extend Pods. I actually wouldn't. You see how this works? And I actually wouldn't extend Steph, but I would have an understanding with them that, hey, look, we need to see what team we can build. Then you can, see what kind of discount a la Jalen Brunson you can give us, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I want DeRozan because he's healthier than Moody right now, and Moody's contract would come off the table next summer. So I am officially yes for DeMar in the poll. Come on now. Don't hate. No hating by the man. Not for that bum. Oh, man, you don't need to throw LeBron under the bus. I know there's a lot of fanfare that comes with him, but have not talked about Draymond yet. I don't know that we need to, now that I've kind of deduced that I'd rather try and get DeMar. So now what I would do is I would go to Draymond and I would try to convince him that, yeah, we should go for DeMar. But from his angle, why would he do it, right? Because no, you know what you pitch Draymond on is you go, hey, look, you're going to be locked in because you're going to be 15 million locked in guaranteed. I got to give you another 15 million locked in guaranteed. Why? Because you had 27.8 million. I got to give you at least that much guaranteed because that's what you were going to get. So just out of good faith, you would give him a multi-year contract. And then maybe the third year out here, you would give Draymond like partially guaranteed, just like you did Kristaps. But at least he's secured that 30 million over the next 2 years, and maybe more than that. Maybe give him an extra 5 million. So that's 37 million guaranteed over 3 years, and or 3 million, just like Kristaps. So that's 33 million guaranteed over the next 3 years. And if we waive you in that third year, then you're a free agent. You can go, wherever the hell you want, go back to Detroit, whatever. But that's in 2028, 29. So that would actually be okay with me. And then you say, hey, look, we're going to rebuild the team around you and Steph. Go shopping for free agents in the summer of 2027. Would you do that? And yeah, you'd essentially be replacing the Moody contract with Draymond's. It's 15 million instead of 13 million. But yeah, this depends on Draymond too. He's got to be okay with this. So we'll see. And that's Draymond for you. Okay, there you go. You watched Locked On Pelicans and they mentioned they would want pods. Thank you for that. Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, I'm not doing the draft pick thing for Trey Murphy again, as I said. So regardless of who it is, Moody or Pods, whatever you want to do there, I'm still not convinced the Pelicans would want that. And then the 3 first-round draft picks, I just don't want to do it because you want to go into this summer of 2027 with your draft picks. What if Cat opts out? He can, look ahead, and he knows that, hey, look, you're not going to be able to afford all 4 of us, including Josh Hart. Josh Hart is also, him and Brunson are a package deal, and they're still young enough. So it's not like when Clay left us, right? I don't think it's going to be like that. So they're going to need to pay these 1, 2, 3, 4 guys already. And I think everybody would rather have OG than Cat. I think we can get Cat next summer. I mean, I'll be the first one to say it. What do you think? Let's do a poll because you guys have voted on DeMar. Do you think we can realistically get Cat next summer, he opts out, assuming we continue, let's see, assuming we still have cap space to do it. Yes, no, I don't know, maybe 50. So I think we can. I think it's realistic, at least as of today. Now, something could happen tomorrow. I don't know. God forbid. I don't know. Somebody gets injured on this team for the whole year. I don't know. Even then, I don't know what you do. So, yeah. I'm the first guy on here that's a Warriors fan that has said that, hey, actually, maybe we could get Cat. And wouldn't it be worth it? Then you'd have, again, in the summer of 2027, I mean, does everybody, do you absolutely need Steph to be a starter here? I don't know that it's that necessary. You're handing the torch over to kind of like, you're handing it over to Cat. He's going to be the most expensive player here on the out years. And wouldn't that be great to have a pick and pop with Steph and Cat? It doesn't have to be the whole game. And it doesn't have to be in the starter position. It can just be, Steph can, just as long as he plays the fourth quarter and closes out a game. That's all that I care about. And I just think with the runner's knee, especially to get through this year, just ease on into your 40-year-old self years and be okay with coming off the bench. That's how we preserve them to get to this point where you can get a Cat. I mean, who else could you get out there? I mean, like, if I told you we could get Cat and just never mind Trey Murphy, wouldn't you say yes to that? But you have to wait until next summer, right? Isn't that compelling at least? That makes you think at least 51%, right? So again, don't drink the Kool-Aid on Warriors Twitter. Everything's now, gimme. It's a video game. It's NBA 2K. I want to make the transactions now. Actually, no, there's a more human aspect of this. You have to kind of position yourself for that once in a lifetime opportunity to rebuild the team around your guy. For the Lakers a month ago, 4 weeks ago, that's what they had with Luka. They had a clean cap sheet. They could just pick who they wanted. And their market this summer sucks. It's going to suck compared to, I think, the market next summer. In fact, I wonder, could we go after Cat? And if we had enough space, if we renounced Jimmy Butler, let's say, could you go after Cat and Brandon Miller? Wouldn't that be incredible? I mean, it's possible just because of our cap sheet next summer. Otherwise, if it wasn't like this, you can't talk about that. No way. So it's like, it's a big leap. It's a big jump, isn't it? Like, that gets you excited. Let's look at Charlotte. See? Qualifying offer, maybe he just takes it and, I don't know. You never know. Sign and trade, demands a trade. I don't know. Next summer is going to be really fun. These are things I hope to have Yossi Goslin on next month. We can just spitball these things. Certainly would not be possible if you were to trade 3 picks out for Trey Murphy right now. Or if you did that in February. At any time. I'm glad they kept the picks. Basketball is a situation where you're going to have hardship at some point. It's never going to be sailing through all these playoff runs. Even the Spurs. I've said this before. Go look up a Spur. Keldon Johnson. guys, I mean, look, this year, 2020, 11th place. 2021, the Spurs were 10th place. 2022, the Spurs were 10th place. 2023, the Spurs were 15th. 2024, the Spurs were 14th. 2025, the Spurs were 13th. Right? Like, Warriors Twitter, please stop it. Like, this is bad behavior. The Spurs had to go through all this hardship, didn't even finish 9th. It was 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th, 14th. And then they got their break. So to sustain that for 12 straight years, like, what are you guys doing? You're complaining that we only have 4 championships because Steph Curry is so great and whatever. I mean, it's just, franchises should never be measured by that. Like, that's fantasy. So let's look at the we were never close to signing James. No, that's not true. Yossi has told me that effectively you don't need to trade Moody that quickly. Benedict Mathurin, well, what's he making? I don't think that's going to work. They just traded for him. Clippers just traded for Mathurin in a huge deal. Doubtful they would just lose him. But let's see. Oh, I got to go to cap sheets. He's a restricted, isn't he? Yep. So last year, what did Mathurin make? $9 million. Okay. That is complicated. You'd probably have to send a pick, and I wouldn't send a pick. So that's the thing on Mathurin. And then Bruce is bringing the on-court basketball issues of Mathurin. But even from just a salary cap sheet perspective, the transaction to get Mathurin is not easy. I don't know. Who are you signing and trading? Kristaps, but Yossi told me we're not trading Kristaps. So also the sign and trade. What is the transaction to get Mathurin? Cam Thomas is this is a ball hog, so I don't think he fits. DeMar signed for vet minimum. I mean, the problem is, yeah. Hopefully you saw me go through that. So Miami can offer DeMar more than the vet minimum. Trade Pods for DeMar? No. You can't trade Pods for DeMar because DeMar is now a free agent. Let's actually confirm that by going to Sacramento and making sure that I don't see his name on there. Yep. I don't see DeMar DeRozan on the Kings, therefore he has been waived. And it should be 10 million guaranteed, right? Oh, where is it? DeMar. Well, worst case scenario, you can go back to Hoops Hype. Let's use this one. Hoopshype.com, DeMar DeRozan. And look at rumors. Interested in Raptors? Oh, man. If everything works out. Sheesh. Okay, we got to look at the Raptors. Yeah, Kings waived DeRozan in a cost-cutting move, which was only guaranteed for $10 million. Saved $15 million. So why isn't he on this list? Cap updates. Am I missing something here? Dead money, 10 million. There it is. That's the, oh, there it is. Skip right past it. My bad. So he's a free agent right now, so you can't trade for him. So no. Okay. Moody or Gay? No, we're not doing that. That's crazy. And Gay's contract is so affordable right now. Why would you trade it? That's like one of your hard-earned wins was to get Gay's salary down. Nice and small here. Or we're looking at the wrong season here. 2027. There he is. Nice, 5 million right there, or next summer, 4.6 million right here. Okay. Warriors staff might not be good for helping them recover mentally. How do you know that? I don't know. Trade Pods and bring back Clay? Are you crazy? No, I think I'd rather have Pods than Clay at this point. Yeah, so DeMar, we're not trading. We're not. DeMar, second year, nah. Hazonia, again, I mentioned that he's a veteran's minimum, so I'm not too worried about that. At least I believe he's a veteran's minimum. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been in the NBA for a while. Hazonia plays like Denny? I don't know about that. If he played like Denny, he'd be in the league already. To type in that the Warriors are a playing team, I mean, don't you have something better to type in? Like, we know that. We already know that. Stating the obvious. Hazonia just won MVP in Spain. Well, I don't know, man. Let's take a look at this stuff. Hoopshype.com. Mario Hazonia. Ooh. Hoopshype. Oh, why does it do that? Hoopshype.com. Mario Hazonia. Salaries and contracts. Cavs have interest. Scouting report and draft profile. Athletic bouncy athlete. Actually, I remember now, Keith Smith, he was saying that he's been playing really well, like 40% shooting. Okay, well, okay. Maybe he's not a veteran's minimum. I take that back. Mario Hazonia. Okay, what we can do is we can split the non-taxpayer mid-level. First of all, let's see how much Cleveland can afford. Because now they're going to want him because they didn't get LeBron. Ooh, Cleveland can also offer non-taxpayer mid-level. No, didn't they spend it already? Maybe not. Yeah. Taxpayer. Oh, they're taxpayers? It says here they're under the tax. So what's up? Oh, James Harden. Gotcha. They don't have James Harden on here yet. Okay, did I do a Cleveland one yet? We're going to go ahead and look at Hazonia, so I take that back. All right, where's Cleveland? Did I do a Cleveland one? Here we go. Cleveland non-taxpayer mid-level. So let's change this to Harden could only make 10 million if they offered that, right? So, and let's make this Hazonia. Let's move this back because it's now one of the important sheets. I'm glad we already looked at Cleveland in the past due to LeBron. So that was not realistic. And so what did I do with the taxpayer? Oh, let's see. So what are you paying James Harden? I mean, if you paid him the mid-level, man, would he do that? What was his contract last year? $39 million, man. Let's just take half of that. You're not taking more than half of your salary, right? So let's take this divided by 2. How come this don't work? Divided by 2. Oh, I've got commas, that's why. Okay. He's got to make at least 19 million, right? So yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Not realistic. So now we got to look at Cleveland with the taxpayer mid-level. So let's duplicate this. Oh, I already did one of those, huh? Hazonia. So now you're going to use the taxpayer mid-level. And what is that? Let me see if I got one of these. 6064. Now we're going to give Hazonia 6064 million. Harden's going to get a more realistic number. Oh, man. They don't even need him to take that much of a discount. 25 million? Yeah, he can take more than that. Let's give him 30 million. They just can't give Hezonja more than a taxpayer mid-level, which we can do. So now you're kind of choosing between DeMar in the non-taxpayer mid-level world or go taxpayer, but then we've already committed to De'Anthony Melton, so we can't really go that route. Maybe you could get Hezonja and DeMar using your non-taxpayer mid-level. So you could split this, but then it's just how badly did you want DeMar? And I mean, the names are DeMar, Hezonja, Brandon Williams. I don't know. Can you get Draymond at 15, DeMar at 8 million? Or maybe you could, okay. I wonder how good Hezonja's defense is, though. All right, so let's look at Hezonja. Let's do another one. Miami. Do this one. Let's go DDR with Hezonja, which is crazy. MH. Can I put all of these guys on the same team? So I'm trading out Moody. I'm getting a veterans minimum. Out Moody. Vet min. That brings me down to 205. Man, I'd still want to trade Moody for somebody, and you can't trade Moody for Hezonja. He's a free agent. What can you do here? It's late at night too, so my brain isn't really working properly. But could you get DeMar? Yeah, non-taxpayer mid-level. Yeah, so we'll just split the non-taxpayer mid-level. Let's go. Actually, let's copy this. Hezonja. Can we offer him 6064? And then this equals 15044 minus this. Oops. 044. Can we get, actually we can do more because we traded out Moody for nothing. And this is a low payroll though. It's 203 million. That doesn't really make sense. Well, you could fill this in with the veterans minimum. Let's just fill the squad here, 205, and maybe don't have any rookie veteran minimums and just have another veterans minimum. 206. It's kind of close. Give you a little wiggle room. You still got the Trace Jackson Davis trade exception to get you to the first apron if you needed somebody to come in. Okay, so this is a way to get both DeRozan and Hazonia. Split the non-taxpayer mid-level, but would Hazonia do this? If he's playing for Cleveland, does he start? Let's see. Let's go back to Cleveland here. Probably not, because you've got Max Strus. Okay, it's a possibility. What if we got DeMar and Hazonia? I don't know. Would he come here for $9 million when Miami could offer more if they traded out somebody like Davion Mitchell? Yeah, a lot of moving parts. So when you go through this exercise, you can see just how difficult it is, and you respect the fact that there's a lot more moving parts. So thank you for the comment right there. That's a good one. Never really wanted LeBron. I think DeRozan is the perfect fit. How about DeRozan and Hazonia? First Warriors channel to say that it's potentially doable just because Cleveland can't give him more than $6 million. Steph needs a bargain extension. Yes. No cat for Bruce. Okay. Well, I disagree. I think he'd work. There you go, deck tabs. I agree with you. Let's take a screenshot. Catch up on more comments and go ahead and hit the like button real quick as a favor for all the spreadsheet work that I'm doing. Let's see how many likes we got. 49. Can we get one more? 89 concurrents, 49 likes. Can I get 10 more likes real quick? I don't like cat. I don't know why. I mean, that's not a reason not to get them, though. You have to come back with how much. Why don't you like them? Shiv Mond in the house. Denny. Okay, how do you get Denny? I never said Cat would be the leader of the team. He'd be the most paid. Do you think the Warriors are a championship caliber team? Never said no. Never said he was. Is GP2 coming back? I doubt it. I don't know if GP2 has a spot. Looking at all this stuff. Victor Sanders. Golly, that's the second time you've mentioned him. Who the heck is this guy? Both Butler and KL. Who's KL? Kareem Lopez? Oh, Kawhi Leonard? Well, I can tell you Jimmy Butler is. Oh, Kristaps? Yeah, 3 million. 3 million on the hook. A lot of people are gone, I guess, huh? Oh no, I can't at you unless you commented within 60 seconds of me reading it. No one wants him? No. That's not right. Just because JK is in a tight market doesn't mean nobody wants him. Better version of JK. Okay. Cool. Yaxel's going to get starter minutes. Yak starts over Draymond. Remains to be seen. Well, doable is maybe a generous word. Again, looking at the spreadsheet here, I don't know. Would DeMar want that? And by the way, Hazonia plays the same position as DeMar. I don't know that DeMar would want that. And gosh, that's why this stuff is hard. It's not like a video game. Like, you can't just trade a guy and everybody accepts it. And there's real life circumstances. DeMar was also looking at what other team? Toronto. So now we got to look at Toronto, see where they're at. So let's take a look real quick. Because if they can pay them, yeah, they got the non-taxpayer mid-level as well, but they're right at the luxury tax. So yeah, you see how everybody positioned their team to be right around striking distance based on what LeBron decided. So DeMar DeRozan, they'd have to trade somebody out. There might be a flurry of trades coming up. We shall see. All right, and the Kawhi Leonard situation hasn't been resolved. So that makes it even extra tough, but let's just assume, all right, let's assume Kawhi figures it out, or they figure it out. Man, I even did NYK. That's crazy. Let's just duplicate this. I don't even remember that. Let's do DeMar Toronto. And let's go copy Toronto. 13 players. Okay, rookie minimum right there. Cool. This guy was locked in. I don't know if could they trade Barrett? They're not trading Colin Murray Boyles. Okay. Wow, Trace Jackson Davis, really? He's guaranteed or no? Oh, he's guaranteed? Way to go, Trace. Way to stay on the squad, man. Okay. Let's get rid of this. And I got 201 million. What was their number? Ooh. They got all these unlikely bonuses. Complicates things. Apron total 206. How'd I? Oh, because I added a rookie minimum right here. Well, all right. Yeah, they're gonna have to trade somebody if they want to bring in non-taxpayer mid-level for DeMar. And can they do it? Yep. Okay. Let's type it in. It's like who blinks first? And they're gonna have to trade somebody, and it's probably gonna have to be one of these two. So trade out to fit DeMar. One of these. Because they're over the first apron. So keep an eye on which of these other guys might get traded. If Moody gets traded tomorrow, then you know we're going after DeMar. Things like that, right? If RJ Barrett gets traded, then they're probably going after DeMar. If Jacob Poeltl gets traded, then they're probably going after DeMar. See? So it kind of makes free agency a little bit more fun when you consider cap sheets. However, the Kawhi Leonard thing is still a problem. So I can't really say that's locked in, really, in limbo right here. But we're assuming that Kawhi is okay on that 50 million. Man, there's a lot of moving parts, right? If you wanted DeMar, if you concluded that you wanted DeMar, you better do it now before the Kawhi thing gets sorted out, because Toronto can't do anything right now. Interesting. So let's put that sheet near the other DeMar analyses, right next to Miami. Okay, so ideally it would be like this. We get both these guys. No, I'm starting to like Hazonia in terms of the descriptions of them, so that's pretty cool. Glad you brought it up. What else we got? All right, Shiv Mond has a new place, new people. When Ron Cycli was on the team, which GM? Why are we doing all this? LeBron's going to the Sixers. You don't do all that stuff when you don't have LeBron. Oh, I mean, I don't. Why is Dunleavy terrible? You got to explain. Rural management. Congratulations, Shiv Mond. yeah, would Toronto want to trade RJ or Jacob for DDR? So, don't know. It's kind of their problem. Kendrick versus Snake thing, man. You guys always got all these, what do you call it? Pop culture beefs that I don't really think matters in real life. I don't think we're getting DeMar on a vet min, man. But I don't know. There's just so many other teams involved here. Toronto, Miami. Yeah, I don't think he's coming on a vet min, though. We don't know what happens with Kawhi. What's the most realistic move? I've told you. That's what we're doing. We're trying DeMar. We're trying Hezonja. I've told you about Brandon Williams in previous lives. You should go check our channel. YouTube.com. Let's go Warriors. And you scroll down and you look at the thumbnails. And you go, oh, here's Moody and Jake LaRavia and Brandon Williams. Talk about that. But Brandon Williams probably on a veterans minimum, small contract. I don't know. I wish Jimmy's contract would be traded. What is Sixers hard cap situation? Well, just go to cap sheets. This is probably the most checked page on Yossi's site, but LeBron gets a minimum. But it's guaranteed for 2 years, so it's actually going to be it's actually not going to be charged on the cap sheet as a regular vet minimum. So he gets the actual veterans minimum, but guaranteed for 2 years. And so that's why the charge on the cap sheet is actually the number 3.8 and 407 with the player option. That's interesting. It's not just a 1 year. Man, that's such a cheap contract. It's crazy. So they are they capped at the first apron for some reason? No, they're a second apron team. They have to be. I mean, look at all these. They got Jaylen Brown and Embiid. So, yeah. They are going to sign Peyton back. So, yeah, I think I've gone through all the scenarios. Now, let's say we don't want DeMar. Yeah, I mean, you could just replace DeMar with Hezonja. I mean, would you rather have Moody or Hezonja? Have you guys said that yet? Bassey's pretty cheap, I think. I mean, yeah, just look at your screen. There he is. Yes, he's cheap. So, again, I'm repeating myself for probably the 5th time tonight. But again, for those of you joining us late, I think more people need to understand that next summer, all these contracts come off. You can rebuild the team by going free agent shopping around Steph. And the team is not good. It's too injured. Jimmy's injured. Kristaps is injured. Moses is injured. Steph is sometimes injured. Like, why would you go and get AD right now? That makes no sense. Why would you go get anybody for 3 picks right now? You don't make deals like that. As I said before at the top, and it'll be the last time I repeat it tonight. The Orlando Magic traded 3 picks for Desmond Bane, but they were in the playoffs. They weren't a play-in team when they did that. And 2 teams in the playoff race didn't go down with Achilles heel injuries, meaning Boston and Indiana. So we don't go for it when you're not even near it. So let's get healthy first. It's not even about, oh, we're a play-in team or not. Are we even a team? This is why I'm more wanting to trade Moody. I know Dean doesn't want to trade Moody. He always has emotional attachment to certain players. I get that. But that's what I want to get DeMar on a 1-year deal just to get through this season. Because this season, it's kind of a wash. I mean, I'm still going to root for the team, though. But you have to understand that we're very injured. And really, I mean, even if Porzingis was not traded in for Kuminga, let's say Kuminga worked out, we would still be injured. Let's say we had Kuminga at his best. We're still a play-in team because Jimmy and Moses are injured. 2 starters, and not only that, one's a fringe Hall of Famer, and the other one is a bona fide starter in the NBA. And I can't drink the Warriors Twitter Kool-Aid because I know these as truths. How are you ever going to win with 2 of your guys, really 3 with Porzingis in your starting lineup that's out or out a lot, and 4 with Steph? It's just, you can't even do that in the YMCA league, let alone the NBA. So how can you be mad about this team when it's so injured? I just don't understand that. So what are you going to do? You want them to trade for Trey Murphy, but dude, we're injured. We're just injured. And I'm not mortgaging the future when we're just injured. In fact, I get to rebuild the team with non-injured young players next summer. So let's just do that. I mean, you gotta take your L's, and you gotta just, every story is like that, you know. I got to see the Odyssey the other day, right? Odysseus comes back, you know. I mean, he has to come back in at least some healthy form. At least he had 7 years with Calypso, you know, kind of a heel of Batman, right? Broke his back against Bane. It takes time to heal the back. He ain't going to come back and defeat Bane the next day or the next year. I don't get it. Like, this is not a video game. So we're injured. There's nothing to complain about. In fact, if you're complaining about that, step up and be a man and be mature and just accept it. But it's not basketball to shut him down. Now you're talking about sign and trade Dre to Philly. Then why go for DeMar? I mean, I don't understand. Like, type in more. I don't, he put like 20 characters in a 200 character comment, right? We're talking about cap sheets. We're talking about pretty in-depth stuff. Like, you got to type in more to explain yourself. This isn't a Twitter back and forth. This is in-depth, scholarly level Warriors analysis. Like, I need more information, so I don't remember what we were talking about with DeMar. So this is like, here you guys go with the myopic view again. Like, that's Warriors Twitter for you. You're looking at this year because you want it now, everything now. But like, I'm telling you, you can rebuild the team next summer. And there's no other opportunity to do that. But you have to wait. You can't have it all. And the reason why we have to wait is because these guys are injured. It's, it happens. So you gotta deal with real life problems the same way. You can't look at bouncing back right away. You gotta take your L, learn a lesson, be humble. And the guy gets older. That's why I've been saying this season, let's utilize Steph less. Just have him come off the bench. Now, I don't really think that on day one he comes off the bench, right? That's not realistic, but you slowly evolve that. And by the end of the season, he's preserved. Now, if we make the playoffs, then yeah, of course he starts in the playoffs. And of course you ramp that up. It's delicate, but that's the price you pay with Steph. It's a good price to pay. He's an all-time great. So it's worth all this hassle. It's worth having to go hire Rick Celebrini with all this stuff. But I mean, two guys are broken right here, and really the third guy's broken, Kristaps, and the fourth guy, Draymond, just is old. He doesn't perform like he used to. It is what it is. Like, there's no need to complain. I mean, that's why everybody hates Warriors Twitter. They actually think all Warriors fans, unfortunately, act like Warriors Twitter. That's not true. There's a lot of guys like me that have been through the dark times, and we are grateful for those 4 championships. And we understand that it's not going to go your way every single year. In fact, it did not go our way for like 20 straight years. But we just didn't know what to do. didn't know how to get out of those holes, and we didn't have all-time greats. So Steph Curry, we got 4 championships so far. We'll see. We win a 5th one, he might be coming off the bench. That still counts. They don't take away his ring just because he's not playing 32 minutes a game. So this is our squad. You have to live with it. You have to accept it. You have to be responsible human beings. Take accountability. Say, yeah, this is my squad, but we're broken right now. And nobody wants to see it that way. That's fine. 29 other teams aren't going to go, oh, poor Warriors. No. Especially when we got KD 10 years ago. Everybody was jealous of us. So we had our good times. Not every team out there gets Kevin Durant in free agency and has the ability to do that because Steph happened to be on MVP seasons making $11 million a year. So we've been able to manipulate the cap sheet, luckily, just because Steph had glass ankles back then. In fact, have you ever thought about if Twitter had existed really when Steph had glass ankles? The same people that are Steph stans today, they would have buried Steph. They would have thrown him under the bus a million times, and that's a shame. But they're lucky. They're lucky there wasn't an app there that encouraged you to ruin your own life by complaining. It's the technology. So yeah, it's a very poorly thought out technology, Twitter. Just don't use it. Like, use our Discord to get the information. You don't really need more than what we have here, even the free version. So Twitter is killing your perspective of life. That's my advice to you. If we could have Dean Wade, okay, no. He's not even a center. Thanks, Amy. If we are injured, what's the use of getting DeMar? I already told you. If the DeMar contract comes off the books, you're missing the point. Giving Steph the opportunity to rebuild around him next summer, that gives him the best chance to win a championship. Not Trey Murphy, not Anthony Davis, none of those. You literally have to wait a year to give Steph the best chance to win the championship. But I'm almost glad you brought that up because it makes it crystal clear. I'm glad you brought that up because now I can just say it in plain English. But that's my theory, right? Theories all have holes, but your theory has holes too. So you want to go out and get Trey Murphy or Anthony Davis or what have you. By the way, Washington doesn't want to trade Anthony Davis. Like, they've said that. So that idea is more far-fetched than the Trey Murphy idea. So if the best available deal out there, and I was the one that wanted Kawhi. So after the season was done, way long time ago, I said, What if we got Kawhi, and in the process of getting Kawhi, we got LeBron? That was the idea, to maybe give Steph a shot. But look, that's not happening, right? Kawhi is going to Toronto probably. LeBron didn't pick us. So here's the next best thing. You default to the next one, which is Trey Murphy isn't going to make you a championship team this year. So just wait 1 year and just hit the reset button. Rebuild around Steph. It's there for you. Like most teams, this is not available. So I actually credit Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob for getting us to this point. Why would Philly trade out Simons for Draymond? That's making him older. Like Draymond is LeBron, like positionally. Like he's a playmaker, so is Draymond. Like I don't think that trade really works. I don't know. Somebody else comment on this. Like, why would Philadelphia want Draymond for Anthony Simons at a discount? Anthony Simons is, by the way, $6 million. How do you even like? That doesn't even add up. The math doesn't even add up. Is there an upcoming college prospect? I don't know. Check NBAdraft.net. There we go. That's the one I've been looking for. We need all 92 people on the stream to be Amy. Well, I'm trying to tell you, there's a different way. Loyal Steph fan, right? Yeah, me too. If we're not trading Steph, that's the best way to get him a championship, is to just reset the team next season, but we gotta get there. All right. AD would request a trade. Yeah, again, AD's not making this squad a championship team, and he might ruin it to make next year's squad not a championship team, because he's got that $62 million player option. So if you go over to Washington, see that's the problem. And he wants an extension, and he's going to have Rich Paul pressure you for that. Like, why would you tie down the franchise to be Anthony Davis's squad? So you're effectively just like you guys criticized my cat idea. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you want to trade for Anthony Davis, then he becomes your highly paid player throughout the next few years. And I'd certainly rather have Cat than Anthony Davis because he's younger. So yeah, on that, I'd be shocked if we got Anthony Davis. Like, why are we even talking about that? Like, it just doesn't fit. Like, I'm the only Warriors fan out there. Warriors Twitter would have you believe that it's a bad idea to actually reset the team to try and get Steph the championship squad next summer. Like, that's your best chance of giving Steph his 5th ring. Keegan Murray and Sabonis. I mean, that's, again, we're back to the same thing. They don't, first of all, they're not getting you past the second round this year. And secondly, $48 million. Nope, that's not happening. Look at Keegan Murray. No. And who would you trade him for? We haven't even got to that part. So step 1, check how long their contract is. On every Warriors trade proposal, step 1, check how long the players' contracts are. 2, salary match. Give the actual trade. Three, make sure the other team would actually would actually want the Warriors players in the trade. So there's your 3-step process. That's what you do when you're thinking that there's a good trade for the Warriors. Go check how long the players' contracts are for. Figure out how to salary match, because now you got $74 million. What are you trading? Like Jimmy and Draymond or something? Like does that sound realistic? Why would Sacramento want Jimmy and Draymond, and like what's in it for them? Oh, picks? Yeah. So I can't keep repeating myself all night. I've been on 2.5 hours, but it all comes back to, again, resetting the team next summer. And I include Moody in that. I love Moody, but just from a numbers standpoint, I'm sorry. I would rather have a contract that comes off the books, and that might be DeMar DeRozan having a 1-year deal. We don't know this. We can't predict it, but I would understand it if it came to that. The best way to give Steph his 5th ring is to reset the team next summer. So you've got to get through this summer. You just have to. I mean, you got to get through this season. You just have to. MPJ, we haven't talked about MPJ yet. Rui wanted to stay in LA. I talked about that at the top. Probably missed it. That Law Murray article appeared on our Discord, so you guys should go look at the pinned comment for the Discord server and go sign up for that. Lonzo, well, like, there's only so many veterans minimums. Like, let's solve the DeMar question first. You have to solve all the things with the bigger contracts first, and then you worry about the Lonzo balls at the end. It's just how it works. You gotta do it. You can't do something down here with Lonzo Ball. And I mean, if he was fully healthy, then maybe you get some guys at their veterans minimum and lock those guys in and whatnot. But we locked in Charles Bassey. Quentin Post left, so we had to do that. So yeah, we don't even know how many spots we got left, because maybe one of these is Brandon Williams. So that's why I never really worry about the veterans minimums. Injured Butler for Sharp and MPJ. Why would they do that, though? X. Still believe Steph wants to win. No one here believes Steph doesn't want to win, of course. But like really, the best chance for a championship is to get through this season, get healthy again, and then get to the next summer. Would the patellar tendon won't know until like February, then can apply for disabled player exception. I wonder, actually, they might want to build this in. Disabled player exception, that's half of the salary, right? So I wonder if we traded Moses, would the other team automatically go for a disabled player exception and try to, patellar tendons, they usually come back before June, but the rule is that if the player isn't going to come back by June, then yeah, you can get this disabled player exception for half of his salary. And so you're like, well, okay. Maybe the other team that trades for him was like, hey, let's get a doctor that's going to say that his comeback isn't going to be until June. So there's that. But if we consider that as well, then you've got to carve out $6 million. And I wonder if we went the second apron route, where we did like no non-taxpayer. Let's see. Is this one it? I have to do this. Charles Bassey. Now I can update this. Charles Bassey. He's at a veterans minimum. So where's that? Here. See. Let's name this disabled player exception. Okay, Draymond. I mean, there's a lot to think about here, but De'Anthony here at the taxpayer mid-level, because we promised him something near that. Moses 215, give him 27 million. Yeah, you'd probably want to stay at least 6 million under. So we go DPE, half of Moody equals this divided by 2. And then we're going to pay Draymond like 25 million. All right. So that gets us under the second apron with a disabled player exception at a future date, much further when the NBA can diagnose whether Moody's coming back by June or not. If he's not, then you get the disabled player exception. Let's bold this. And to fit that all under the second apron, I'm sure they should be thinking about this. If this were a run it back situation with no DeMar and no trading out of Moody, then here's our disabled player exception. That means most we can pay Draymond, $25 million. We'll see. Should be an interesting week or two, actually. So we discover a lot of things as we're doing these live streams and as you comment. So it's good to comment. Keep it high vibrational, please, like this. Keep it with an open-ended question and not like demanding. Like, you see, Matt Johnson is not throwing Moody under the bus in any circumstance, So yeah, remember, don't throw anybody under the bus while you're making a comment, especially Mike Dunleavy or Joe Lacob these days. And yeah, your comment led me to think that, hey, maybe they need to build this in just in case. But this is the situation where you are under the second apron. You don't use the non-taxpayer mid-level to get DeMar. In those situations, then yeah, maybe that's another reason for you to go ahead and trade Moses if you're going that route of the non-taxpayer mid-level right here. So it all kind of revolves around Moody. It's really too bad that he's injured, but yeah, so Draymond, conclusion of Matt Johnson bringing up the Moody injury and the disabled player exception. I don't think we can pay Draymond more than $25 million. So if you see tomorrow that he's signed for $25 million, this is why. But that means we're probably keeping Moody. Yeah. I mean, I feel like guilty of saying that I probably want to trade Moody there's more reasons for me to want to trade Moody than not. I will admit that sometimes it's just good to make a change on your roster for the sake of making a change. And DeRozan kind of brings that. I would rather have two new guys that are pretty good at what they do. I don't know if DeRozan would go for him and Hazonia on the same squad because they play the same position. I don't know, but this would be ideal too. But that also means you're trading out Moses. And in this case, this is an old note. Must trade out Mo. You can't trade Brandon because he doesn't make enough money. It's not enough because a veteran's minimum to replace that spot is $2.5 million. So you're really only saving $2 million, which isn't enough to pay these two guys and stay under that first apron. Moving on. Oh, Kerr blocked the MPJ deal. That's what somebody said today. We go to the Steve Kerr channel, scroll down, and Vince Goodwill, I think it was. Kevin O'Connor. I don't know if we can trust Kevin O'Connor. I really don't know how good his sources are, but he was the one that said that the Warriors were trying to get Anthony Davis. I don't buy it. But yeah, here's where the MPJ Steve Kerr thing came up. And it's in this article. Just a little sentence. Now, we should go through the exercise, but first of all, Michael Porter Jr. has an expiring salary, so that's attractive to me. But you're just basically renting him, but you are trading out like Jimmy or something. But how would you do the trade? Because it's gonna have to be MPJ plus somebody else. So yeah, how would you salary match the MPJ trade? I don't know. 40 million. You're gonna have to send picks again, and I don't want to do that because I want to build a team for Steph. Yeah, don't want to spend picks. Would you agree to sign and trade Peyton Watson? Yeah, I don't. No, there's not enough. We don't have enough. Putting Podziemski in a deal, I just don't, I guess, like, just to add it up. Yeah. That's why it's hard because all of these salary slots you can't trade. So now you're forced to trade Brandon. And like if I'm the other team, like Podziemski, I mean, like $6 million player, probably not worth more than 10 million considering the small contracts going around. So I don't think Denver would do that. Nets know they're not winning the chip. I don't know why the Nets would do that. You'd have to throw in picks, and I don't think we should do that because the best chance to get Steph a championship is to rebuild the team next summer. Trade Yaks. That's complicated. Yaks. Yeah, again, why would they want that? Porzingis is damaged goods. I think a lot of people are in denial that we really can't trade anybody in these first 7 spots. And we're not trading Yaxel for, I mean, is Peyton Watson an upgrade over Yaxel? I don't know about that. You want Yaxel to get his touch? I mean, they don't play the same position. It's Yax, Dre, and so Yax touch is not really dependent on DeMar. Jay Jones is an NBA ready. The only reason why, again, it's less to be outraged over, LeJay possibly getting an NBA contract, and more so that you would want this number to be lower because you can get LeJ a second round pick on a rookie veterans minimum, which was on one of these. You know, like what they're doing with Ryan Conwell on Miami. So I know that's what you saw in one of these, LeJ. So you'd want to just, if we go the second apron route, then we're probably signing LeJ, right? Like, and it's not like we're rewarding him. He's just so happens to be lucky to be in that position. I wonder if Brandon Williams can get a rookie vet min. I guess not, because he was signed for the rest of the season last season. So, yeah, this is just numbers manipulation, really. It's not really about LeJ. It's more about fitting everything under the second apron in this case. Westbrook and Kuminga. Yeah, JK's not playing for Steve Kerr again. Yeah, I talked about Hazonia already. In fact, I did a DDR MH right here. I did a mock-up of actually getting both DeMar and Hazonia, but you can slot in DeMar or Hazonia here for the non-taxpayer mid-level. Cleveland, on the Cleveland Hazonia mock-up, they, according to my projection, can only offer a taxpayer mid-level. So that's why I came up with the mock-up of DeMar and Hazonia on the same team, because we matched that salary. But DeMar would have to accept that, you know, a lot of pieces would have to fall in the right place. So I don't know. Usually the simplest is the easiest, is the most probable outcome. And that's just really DeMar, non-taxpayer or not. That's the big question. And this isn't even the right spreadsheet because we're over the first apron here. We have to trade out Moses to make that happen. And again, as I did for the LeBron video where we looked at the possibilities, if you trade out Moody, there's just enough room to bring in like a Dalton Knecht. At least you're getting something for Moody. And the Knecht contract is a team option, which is good. Fits that paradigm of rebuilding the team next year, next summer. We thought maybe Jake LaRavia, but the $6 million doesn't really fit. So now I'm thinking Dalton Knecht. And I think the Lakers would do that. They'd be like, yeah, we like Moody, and you know, we can sustain until Moody gets back. And Moody is our long-term wing because Vanderbilt can't shoot, and they're done with LaRavia and Knecht. Those were one-year experiments, and they didn't like them. But they're better than nothing, either of these guys, right? LaRavia, if you had to choose between nothing and, you know, some other vet minimum or Jake LaRavia, you got to pick LaRavia. Same thing with Knecht. Between him and a regular veterans minimum, yeah, I'll take Knecht. Different type of player than like Bruce Brown or what have you, but he's taller, and you know, maybe we can teach him some defense or what have you. So yeah, those two names would be potential trades for Moody, or you could just trade him for nothing. But yeah, trading him for nothing doesn't make any sense because then you'd be under the first apron a little bit too much. Like, if you're under the first apron and you should just use the maximum space that you have. So yeah, try and get something for Moody that's better than a veteran's minimum. Okay, here, let's see. Generational won't be in a draft any. So you use the picks now. No, we talked about that. So sorry, it's getting late. I can't go through that again. Your best chance at a championship for Steph is to not trade out the picks right now. I hate to break it to you, but it's to wait until next summer to hit the reset button and go free agent shopping just like the Lakers did 4 weeks ago. Why not just get Sharp next summer? Getting him this summer makes no sense. Just have him on the radar. Maybe we can get Brandon Miller. He's better than Sharp. But yeah, this may be a little rich here, 20 million plus for Shadon, but maybe he demands a trade because they've got a whole bunch of guards, a ton of guards. Maybe it's Scoot Henderson instead of Shadon Sharp, right? How are they they got so many guards. I don't know what they're doing. Drew Holiday too. Player option of 37 million. Like, I don't know what Portland's doing. Benedict Mathurin, I would disagree on Benedict Mathurin. No more picks, man. Why? Brandon Ingram, why? Heck no. All right, I caught up. Well, I was on for 3 hours. Appreciate you coming. Hope we were able to lift you up a little bit. It's not that dark, guys. Look, okay, I know this season's going to be tough. I keep mixing up the words summer and season. This season is going to be tough. But there's no better way to shape the team for Steph to win another championship than to do it next summer. And that's kind of the thesis of this whole thing. So, yeah, getting DeMar DeRozan for me is more like getting off of Moody's contract, honestly. Sorry to say that, but I just like that. I'm the only guy on the internet that is okay with, I mean, it's just whatever label you want to put on it. If you're a negative person, then you'll say, we're going to waste another year of Steph. But if you're actually looking out for Steph, I'd say, hey, look, let's just rebuild a team next summer for him. We'll be in a way better position. And you never know. Jimmy could come back fully healthy. He could lift us up like he did in the trade 2 Februaries ago. Kristaps could maybe get healthy again. I mean, if we're fully healthy here, are we really that much worse than Denver? I mean, I still think we can beat Denver fully healthy. I still think we can beat the Lakers fully healthy because I'm not impressed with what they did with their free agent shopping. I think we can beat Houston. I think we can beat Minnesota even because they're a different squad now. They used to have our number because they had they had Naz Reid and Julius Randle bullying us. Now they don't. They got LaMelo Ball. So they're much more guard-centric now. And we like teams that are guard-centric, like we can handle them. Portland is iffy. They're good, but they're iffy. By the way, way down here, Utah. Okay, they look impressive on paper. Okay, we'll see. But I like our chances against Phoenix, Clippers, Dallas, Pelicans, right? The West is very top-heavy. All these, these are kind of up for grabs. I mean, they're not that great teams. Even Denver. We got to see. Are they running it back? If they run it back, they're over the second apron. Okay, you're running it back. We're probably not beating Denver with healthy Aaron Gordon. Because if I'm saying was fully healthy, then I have to assume they're fully healthy. Got to be fair. Okay, fine. We can't beat the Nuggets, but all these other teams, look, these are beatable teams. So, you can make a run for it. Like in 2012, did we expect to be in the top 6? No, we ended up 6th. So those of us that have been here, we've been through this before with low expectations. I don't even know what you're talking about with the Jimmy Butler thing. It's no longer effective. Nah, I disagree with you on that. Keep short contracts, no player options, and be ready for next year. Yeah. Oh, thanks, brother. I just think it gives Steph the best chance to win a championship before it's over. And it's only a 1-year difference than the people wanting, 3 picks and for Trey Murphy, or AD is just, I don't know if he's healthy. Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? Let's put this in the back. Let's do this. So, yeah, I went over 3 hours. Whoa. Porzingis is a dark horse. Yeah, load manage stuff. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, trust the process on the Sixers. Yeah, Dean, good point, man. Good point. Let's put that on Philly. All right, I'm going to wrap it up now. But, hey, thank you for being much, much more palatable than Warriors Twitter. Like at least I convinced one of you out there to consider that rebuilding the team next summer might actually be the best shot at giving Steph his 5th ring. Oh, don't get me started on the Bob Myers effect. Like, Myers getting credit is overblown, man. I said this one time in this live stream. It's Gansey that deserves the credit. A ton of ties to Braun. So, yeah, today on Warriors Twitter, they decided to throw Joe Lacob under the bus a million times, and they made up this thing where he ran Bob Myers out the door. What? No, Bob Myers left because he didn't want to be the one trading one of the big 3. Even Andre Iguodala, he went through that. He didn't want to do that again with Steph, Dre, or Clay. And it turned out that we had to do that with Clay because he got an offer he couldn't refuse to go to the Mavs. So I think it's less about Bob Myers with LeBron saying yes to the Sixers, and it's more about Mike Gansey. Go look that up. It's on our Discord. Right here on NBA, but now this is non-Golden State suddenly. Right here is the one that properly credits Mike Gansey from The Athletic, all this stuff. All right, so go sign up for the Discord. The link is in the pinned comment. And what did we do on the poll? Mostly no's on the cat theory. All good. Yaxel Lindeborg. I mean, we'll see. I don't know if only. That's a Sith Lord absolute. All right. Thank you all. Next live. I don't know, man. I'm sure something's going to happen. But we do have the Valkyries, and oops, I did go live for All-Star game tomorrow. I'll try. We'll see. That's going to be at 8:30 Eastern time. Well, it's kind of today. Let's just say Saturday. $5:30 p.m. Pacific. Gabby Williams, WNBA All-Star Watch. Then probably whenever we make another roster move, whatever it may be. We go live that night. So thanks for being on here. And okay, Brandon Ingram is 28. But how about, well, next time, explain why Steve didn't play him at the World Championships. Yeah, you could get him at a discount. Okay. Let's go look at it. He got traded, right? Toronto Clippers. So he's on the Clippers now. Ooh, player option. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that's not happening. Anything else before we leave? Stop it, man. You joined late. You wouldn't be sad. All right. Thanks. And yeah, next live's on your screen tomorrow. Gabby Williams at the All-Star game. I guess there's a 50% chance it might not happen in terms of me being out of town right now, but I'll try just to keep the streak going, even though I forgot to watch Janelle Salon mess up in the 3-point contest today. Oh, well, it was good that she was there. So that's it for now. And yeah, we'll do some more spreadsheet work the next time there's an opportunity. And heck, maybe we get DeRozan and Hazonia, although this is far-fetched. This is a bit far-fetched. And let's see what happens with Draymond's contract and all of that. Let's see if Moody gets traded. That would be huge news, wouldn't it? Like tomorrow morning? Gosh, then you got to figure that we're getting DeRozan, and I wonder how the dominoes will fall. So that is all. Appreciate you all. Man, you're on the dude. Go to Warriors Twitter. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining. See ya in 19 hours.